Hello Swellies! Welcome to my channel. Today we're going to be talking about Banh Xeo. So Banh Xeo is a crispy, savory crepe from Vietnam. I personally grew up eating Banh Xeo at my mother's kitchen table. She would make a tall stack of them and we would just reheat a couple pieces at a time, douse it with fish sauce, lots of herbs and veggies like cilantro, mint, basil, lettuce, and it was a really light and easy snack, and I hope you enjoy my version of Banh Xeo. So the first thing you're gonna do is measure out your mung beans. You can make your Banh Xeo vegetarian with fried tofu and just beans, or you can do the traditional route and fill it with shrimp, some slices of pork belly, however you like it. So let's start out with the mung beans. This adds a nice amount of protein to an already high carb meal, but if you can't find it or you don't like beans, you can omit it. I poured out half a cup of mung beans into my little mini blender. I'm going to soak them in this container with a bit of hot water. I use boiling water from my kettle and I set that aside for half an hour. If you spill a bit, don't worry, compensate by adding a little bit more. After the half hour mark, blend it up in your mini blender and we're going to add it into our batter. In our batter, we're going to start with rice flour. And this is the particular brand that I use, but you can use whatever brand you find at the grocery store, especially if your options are limited at the Asian supermarket. Rice flour resembles powdered sugar because it's really finely ground, but let me just tell you, this is a wonderful option for those who have trouble with gluten. This is a wonderful recipe because it uses rice flour and it uses cornstarch. There is no wheat in this crepe. The cornstarch is really a nice added ingredient because it makes the crepe crispy. The rice flour, when it's cooked, it's very light and so it has a nice texture. And it's often used in Asian baked goods and savory goods. I use coconut milk here. I shake it up because it has a tendency to separate. In the can, the fats float to the top and then the coconut water stays in the bottom. The wonderful surprise about this recipe is that there are no eggs. Everyone asks, oh, how do you get that yellow golden color? There are no eggs. The color comes from the turmeric spices that we use. The coconut flavor really comes through. It tastes really rich, slightly decadent, and it has that slightly tropical, interesting flavor. Turmeric itself doesn't have a ton of forward flavor, but it has really rich, beautiful color. You can choose to add salt to your crepe here. I don't add salt to my crepe mixture, my batter, only because I know that later on I'm gonna cover everything, my crepe, the veggies, with nuoc mam, which is fish sauce seasoned with sugar, chilies, lime. So we're gonna let that sit for a moment, and I keep the whisk handy because it tends to separate as you're making each of the crepes. So I have a 2 frying pan system because you want to be able to prepare one crepe while the other one is cooking. So I'm just using a little bit of oil. I happen to have spicy chili oil already in the fridge, but please use just regular canola oil or vegetable oil, whatever you have available. I prepare each crepe by layering the raw shrimp, green onions, and very thinly sliced onion, red onion in this case. I let that cook partially, just for 10 seconds or so, and then I start pouring the batter in. I use about a ladle. You can use a little bit more or less depending on how big your pan is. I like to cook these on high because I want a crispy bottom. And the wonderful thing about these crepes is you don't need to flip them. You fill it towards the end of the cooking time, you fill it with soybean sprouts and let that cook just for a couple minutes, and then you're gonna fold it and put it to the side. I have a cookie sheet covered with wax paper to handle the huge piles of crepes I'm gonna be making. So once again, layer your pan with your choice of vegetable oil. A few slices of shrimp. If you have pork belly, use pork belly. Green onions and sliced red onions, or white onions if you have that. If you're doing a vegetarian version, go ahead and use your fried tofu. It doesn't need to be meat. There are tons of vegetarians in Vietnam, and they make food delicious using non-meat products. And you want to flip the pancake, the crepe, when it has a crispy golden edge. Here's my pile that I've made. I was inspired by my mother, who also made Banh Xeo, and she has a wonderful pile of veggies and herbs to complement her Banh Xeos that she made, while I used nước mắm, she used soy sauce. So you have a lot of flexibility in how you want to season your Banh Xeo. Thanks for joining me today. Hope to see you next time. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and comment.